Tonight on Cronkite News, learn how the Commissioner's Cup doesn't only bring the fans in the stands together, but it helps unite our community.
Plus, find out why Devin Booker officially decided to change his signature number.
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
And the British Prime Minister is resigning. Find out when a new leader could be brought into the world stage. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Andrew Montana.
And I'm Zoe Lamb. Thank you for joining us.
After clinching their spot in the round of 32, the U.S. men's national team is back on the practice field as it prepares for its final game of pool play in the FIFA World Cup this week against Turkey. Our Caroline Rowland joins us now from the team's training site in Irvine, California. And Caroline, I hear the team finds itself in a good spot.
They are definitely in a good spot, but this upcoming game against Turkey presents a bit of a dilemma for head coach Mauricio Pochettino. Does he go with the same 11 players for momentum, or does he change the lineup to rest certain players, including 4 of them who have yellow cards? One of those players, Florian Balogun, says he doesn't know yet whether he will or will not play on Thursday.
I think, as players, it's not really our, role and responsibility to focus about that. We all have trust in the coach, and whatever team he plays, I'm sure they'll go out there with the objective to win.
Another question is whether the injured star Christian Pulisic will make his return to the lineup or continue to rest. The depth of this U.S. team is an advantage, and every player is ready to contribute if their number is called.
We're ready to step on the field if it's players who have been playing more, playing less. I think, like I said, this team's capable of putting so many starting lineups, and everyone's going to play just as well.
It's my first World Cup, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the stakes, I'm enjoying the pressure, it's what brings out the best in me, so, I'm very excited.
The good news is that the yellow cards reset after the group stage, but it's a big risk for the players to be on that field. One more yellow card in the game against Turkey, and they will have to sit out of that first knockout round on July 1st. We'll have to wait and see what Pochettino does. In Irvine, Caroline Rowland, Cronkite News.
The U.S. men's national team will open the knockout round July 1st at Levi Stadium against a third-place team that has yet to be determined.
The D-backs continue to stay around 500 as they dropped the series at home to the Twins. After winning the first game 9-5, they dropped 2 in a row, losing 16-8 on Saturday and 4-2 on Father's Day. Ketel Marte went 3 for 10 in the series with 2 walks and a homer on Friday. The D-backs are now sitting at 3rd in the NL West, a half game back from the Padres and 1 game back from a wildcard spot, with the All-Star break 3 weeks away. They travel to St. Louis today to play the Cards this evening.
The Arizona Cardinals are flying higher than ever, and for the first time, the Birds have made it possible for all Arizona Special Olympic athletes to fly together as a team. In partnership with Gridiron Air, the Arizona Cardinals joined the Special Olympics airlift. Their goal? To send Special Olympic athletes to the USA Games for a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The Arizona Cardinals team aircraft, nicknamed Dove 777, provided more than 140 Arizona athletes and coaches safe travels to Minneapolis. The Birds are also the first professional sports team to use their aircraft to transport athletes as a part of the airlift, as well as the first wide-body aircraft to join.
The Cardinals aren't the only professional team finding a way to give back, as the Mercury earned a donation for an Arizona nonprofit through the WNBA's Commissioner's Cup charity initiative. Cronkite News reporter Emily Montano has more on the partnership making a difference.
The Commissioner's Cup isn't just about what happens on the court. The tournament's impact reaches far beyond the final buzzer. The Phoenix Mercury earned an $11,000 donation for Chicanos por la Causa, a nonprofit that provides community support services across Arizona.
I think sports is one of the things that brings the most people together, and especially basketball, and here in Phoenix.
The donation will help support community engagement initiatives across CPLC's network of programs, including youth services, adult services, and efforts to address food insecurity. For Roberto Del Real, the recognition comes at a critical time.
During these times, we're trying very hard to find funding to keep our programs, running in the communities and providing support to everyone.
Del Real says partnerships with organizations like the Mercury help ensure services remain available to those who need them most.
It is so important to have strong partnerships in the community. It helps our work to continue.
The Commissioner's Cup gives teams an opportunity to make a difference, turning their performance into support for local organizations.
It gives us pride because that's also why we play. We don't always we don't only play for ourselves. We also play because we know people are enjoying us. People admire what we do, and if we can help other people in any other way, it's just a plus.
While the Commissioner's Cup competition has come to an end, its impact will continue off the court.
I'm glad that we gave the donation. That's awesome. But yeah, we're still trying to find ourselves. Commissioner Cup regular season game. We got to be better.
As the Mercury turn their attention back to the regular season, Chicanos por la Causa will turn the team's performance into support for communities across the state. Reporting from Mortgage Matchup Center, I'm Emily Montano, Cronkite News.
Chicanos por la Causa has served Arizona communities for nearly 6 decades and says the donations will be distributed across multiple programs supporting youth, adults, and families.
Coming up after this quick break, we'll meet a player who's made it all the way to the World Cup.
That's right, he's playing for the U.S. men's national team thanks to a big part to his father.
Just going to those games, watching my pops play, seeing the passion of the fans, and kind of bred that that intensity, that passion, into me.
But it almost didn't happen. Thanks to his father, who used to be his coach, we'll hear from them both coming up on Cronkite News.
I'm Madison Kaminsky from the Cronkite Weather Center, and we're still seeing these triple digits by 9 p.m. Are we going to cool down this week? Well, that's coming up in your full forecast.
People have always had trouble trying to put me into a box. A professor, suit and tie is just not me. Without the ocean, I don't know what I would do. The ocean's always been there for me. As Hawaiian people, we believe that the coral is the first living being to come out of the darkness. It's the foundation of our entire lifestyle, and that's what my research is about. What we do is we take photographs of the reef over long periods of time to create models that can tell us what the planet is doing. If we go deaf to what the Earth is telling us, then we'll never be able to live in harmony. If I can get my students excited about protecting the ocean, then they're the ones who are gonna really make the difference. I hope my students realize that I'm not trying to prepare them for something in the distant future. Their time is now at Arizona State University.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. Father's Day celebrations are officially over, but the appreciation for dads remains.
And for Sebastian Berhalter, making the U.S. men's national team roster was a dream that didn't seem possible. Our Jacob Brooks has more on how his dad gave a little bit of extra motivation to bring those dreams to life.
Playing in a friendly against Germany in Chicago hit home for Sebastian Berhalter in more ways than one. Germany was where he spent his childhood watching his father Greg play professionally.
Just going to those games, watch my pops play, seeing the passion of the fans, and kind of bred that that intensity, that passion, into me.
Despite his father's status as a former player and national team coach, Sebastian wasn't going to have his soccer career handed to him.
We took a very hands-off approach. We never spoke to coaches, never spoke to agents. It was really just about him and what he was going to be able to do on his own.
When Greg Berhalter finalized his 2022 World Cup roster, he didn't think Sebastian was ready, so he left his son off the team. Instead, he opted to hold rigorous one-on-one training sessions with him in Chicago to get Sebastian to that next level organically.
Just reflecting on those times, those are tough times, and I'm super grateful that I have a dad that would go through that with me and, push me to my limits.
All of the time spent in Chicago grinding in the darkness put Sebastian Berhalter on the right path. But it wasn't until he got one of these, an official World Cup mini replica trophy, that he truly went all in on trying to follow in his father's footsteps and earn a spot on the U.S. World Cup roster.
It was so important to him to buy this little World Cup replica trophy. And he's like, I'm going to put it in my apartment, and every single day I'm going to look at it, and that's going to be a reminder of where I want to go.
Sebastian's manifestation was realized in the form of a spot on the 2026 World Cup roster. And the cherry on top, he got to soak in the send-off game in the city that's embraced him even at his lowest.
Chicago, I call it home. Back here a year later, it's pretty crazy going to the World Cup, so yeah, I'm super excited to be here.
He had to be patient, but he also had to keep believing in himself. And that's what I think I'm most proud of, is that that self-belief never wavered.
Sebastian Berhalter could have had soccer the easy way, but instead, he put his head down and earned it, which will make this World Cup all the sweeter. In Chicago, Jacob Brooks, Cronkite News.
Berhalter currently leads the Vancouver Whitecaps with 6 goals on the season through 14 games and will look to have a crucial role for the U.S. in this year's World Cup.
And speaking of fathers, the Phoenix Suns announced Devin Booker will pay homage to his by changing his jersey number from 1 to 15, a Father's Day gift the Valley never expected. Booker may have solidified a legacy wearing the number 1, becoming the Suns' all-time leading scorer. However, he's starting a new chapter. Changing from 1 to 15 means honoring not only Booker's Team USA number, but also his father, who wore 15, playing for the Missouri Tigers.
It's always been 15, every video game that I played where you could choose a number, whether it was NCAA football or NCAA basketball, I would always make my player number 15. I'm blessed to have a father that played professional.
And in 11 seasons, Booker became a 5-time All-Star while wearing the number 1, but 15 has always been a part of his story. So we'll see if he can add any more accolades with this new number.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Open ended with American golfer Wyndham Clark finishing first place, shooting 4 under the tournament. Clark's winnings come out to $4.5 million, and his caddy, David Pilokas, a Shinnecock Hills veteran, earned an estimated $450,000 bonus. I wish that was going into my pocket, Andrew.
And if you want to play a round of golf here in the Valley, you better do it very early because it's going to be a scorcher this week. Madison Kaminsky joins us from the Cronkite Weather Center with our forecast. Madison?
Scorching is right. Who turned up the heat? I am not sure, but not appreciative of it. We're going to have an extreme heat warning in the southeastern part of the state going from midday on Tuesday all the way until Wednesday evening, as well as another one of these extreme heat warnings in the Grand Canyon, places below 4,000 feet, somewhere like Phantom Ranch, where you can see temperatures upwards of 110 degrees. As far as here in the Phoenix area, we're expecting that extreme heat to start kicking in a little bit later this week. We're under an extreme heat watch, but we could see temperatures that are flirting with 115 degrees. 88 degrees as you're making your morning commute tomorrow. Places along the rim generally in the 60s, 57 up in Flagstaff. Lake Havasu City, though, a little bit of an outlier, got our 90 degrees over there waking up in the morning. Generally 110 degree plus in the lower deserts, right on that century mark in Sedona. Places along the rim in the 90s, and Page just a couple of degrees above that 100 degree mark. Now, with this heat, You got to make sure you're being careful and knowing the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. I stepped off the screen so you could take a picture of this because these are some really common symptoms and what you should do. If you're experiencing a throbbing headache, before you even pass out, you might want to call 911 because that is really not good. You're going to want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water and upping your dose of electrolytes. Hottest day of the year so far, coming here on Thursday with our overnight lows creeping close to the 90s, but not quite there yet. As we get through the week, we'll see a little bit of a cool down. We have this high pressure that's over us, and that's what's causing these temperatures to really ramp up. You'll see through the early part of next week, right actually a little bit below normal, and those lows will also be pretty normal as well. As far as our temperatures, that high pressure, there are some monsoon storm chances up in the high country, but overall we're going to stay really warm and really dry. From the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Madison Kaminsky. Back to you.
Thank you, Madison. And coming up next, the World Cup has found its way to the Valley.
And it's having a big impact on local communities. Find out what World Cup team is here and how it is helping local businesses. Coming up next on Cronkite News.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Addison Lenhart with a look at tonight's news headlines. With no World Cup games hosted in the Valley, a local city is still feeling an economic boost from the Cup. Cronkite News reporter Paloma Rochelle is in Mesa to give us how.
The Turkey men's national soccer team chose the East Valley as their training ground ahead of their upcoming World Cup tournament matches. Hosting the team is a massive logistical feat that took a team effort just to recruit them.
We really look at the tourism impact and what that means for the visitor economy and being able to, again, really elevate Mesa's tourism and sports tourism angle.
That spike in foot traffic is exactly what city leaders are counting on. The economic impact of an international soccer team is comparable to one of the East Valley's biggest tourist draws.
For example, when we have spring training, baseball spring training, we see a spike on our sales tax revenue due to spring training. Now, can we quantify it? It's just from that. You know, we assume that, and it's a good 99% probability. The same would be with the team coming here. And we would see a spike in, you know, sales tax revenue as well as hotel stays.
That expected boost in sales tax and hotel stays is welcome news.
I actually just found out, which is amazing news.
In downtown Mesa, where merchants often struggle during the lean summer months, for local restaurants like Tacos Chivas, an arrival of fans couldn't come at a better time.
Because in the summer, we do struggle a lot. Everybody goes back home or traveling. So I know this is going to bring a great revenue to our restaurant. So we're looking forward to having all those either team players, customers, people visiting Mesa.
All those extra lunch orders, including burgers, quesadillas, tacos, drinks, can add up. City officials expect the soccer team visit will bring in millions of tourism dollars.
Visit Mesa estimates the economic impact at $3 million, which is no small change for small businesses who say they are ready to welcome all the visitors who are here to support the Turkey men's national team. In downtown Mesa, Paloma Rachel, Cronkite News.
Thank you, Paloma. Visit Mesa officials say they plan to use this success of this partnership to pitch the Valley for hosting more events in the future. Evacuations have been ordered after a wildfire broke out in northern Arizona. The pocket fire, just 7 miles north of Sedona, has reportedly burned 320 acres and is 0% contained, according to authorities. Residents of Oak Creek Canyon were forced to evacuate over the weekend, and parts of the Coconino National Forest are closed for public safety. In addition, State Route 89A is closed both north and southbound from Sedona up to Kachina Village. No word from officials yet on when the road will be reopened or any word on the cause of the fire. We turn now to international news. Vice President J.D. Vance was in Switzerland today for meetings with Iranian officials to discuss an end to the war.
Our teams working with the Iranians, the Qataris, and the Pakistanis made great progress yesterday. They will continue to work at the technical level with the teams here in Bergenstock, and then those technical negotiations are going to continue over the weeks and days to come.
Vance also said the U.S. and Iran are working together to find a way to clear Israeli troops out of Lebanon, a point that has become crucial for Iran.
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced his resignation today, adding that his Labour Party will install a timetable to name a replacement and new member of the party. He will remain Prime Minister until a successor is brought in. Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham was sworn into the UK Parliament following the resignation and is seen as the likely successor to Starmer. Nigel Farage, the leader of Britain's Reform Party, is demanding an election after the Labour Party's defeat in last month's elections. The UK is set to see their 7th Prime Minister in the last 10 years. Parents, have you ever thought your child spends too much time on their devices? A new study shows that there could still be a negative impact if you spend a lot of time scrolling. New research from the journal Frontiers in Psychology shows that young adults who note that their parent was frequently distracted by their phone correlates in less confidence and security in their relationships with their families. While the study surveyed 600 adolescents, no specific amount of time that the parents spent on their phone was included. Google will invest roughly $75 million into an AI research partnership with independent movie studio A24. A24, known for their recent film Backrooms, is working with Google's AI unit DeepMind to create new tools to produce and distribute movies. The agreement comes as roughly half of adults under 30 believe AI will harm society, according to a Pew Research study published last week. That's it for tonight's headlines. I'm Addison Lenhart. Thank you so much for joining us. Now back to Andrew and Zoe at the desk.
Thank you, Addison. Coming up next, a car is breaking speed records at less than 70 miles an hour.
That's right. It may not be what you think. The car is made out of different materials than most cars. What it is and why it has kids freaking out, coming up next on Cronkite News.
Superstition Springs Lexus. Experience amazing.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me. So I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer. I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
Phoenix Mercury Basketball is presented by Ballybet, official betting partner of the Phoenix Mercury. Fountain America Credit Union, the exclusive home of the Phoenix Mercury card. Michelob Ultra. Phoenix Mercury Basketball is presented by Ballybet, official betting partner of the Phoenix Mercury. Fountain America Credit Union.
Welcome back. Lego has once again completed every kid's dream, building a life-sized race car.
That's right, and I know for sure it's already cooler than my car. The car, a model of Koenigsegg Sedair's Spear, was built with 327,000 pieces. While the real car touches speeds of 220 miles an hour, the Lego model reached a peak of 69 miles per hour. It exceeds the 32 miles per hour expectation and, more importantly, broke a speed record of the Lego Technic model car.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Andrew Montana.
And I'm Zoe Lamb. Thank you so much for joining us. And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log into cronkitenews.azpbs.org.